Hello friend, today we are going to start our first day for the preparation of UPSC. So for preparing the UPSC, you should know the syllabus of UPSC. So first of thing we will remember the syllabus of the UPSC, 5 time, 10 time, how many time you have to listen this audio. You have to listen it and memorize the UPSC syllabus. Just keep UPSC syllabus in front of you and listen this video. You will definitely in 5 time or 10 time or 20 time you will remember the entire syllabus. So we are going to start with paper 1. So paper 1 is Indian heritage and culture, history and geography of the world and society. Okay, so in this first point is that Indian culture will cover the silent aspects of art forms, literature and architecture forms ancient to the modern time. Second point is that modern Indian history from about the middle of the 18th century until the present, significant event, personalities and issues. Third point, the freedom struggle, its various stages and important contribution from the different parts of the country. Fourth point, post-independent consolidations and reorganization within the countries. Fifth point, history of the world will include events from 18th century such as Industrial Revolution, World Wars, withdrawal of nation boundaries, colonization, decolonization, political philosophies like communism, capitalism, socialism, etc. ये friends बहुत important है, communism, capitalism and socialism. You should see the definition of all these three terms. Then their reforms and effects on the society. Silent feature of Indian society, diversity of India. Role of women and women's organization. Population and associated issue. Poverty and development issue. Urbanization, their problem and their remedies. Effect of globalization on Indian society. Social empowerment, communalism, regionalism and secularism. Next point, silent feature of world physical geography. Next point, distribution of key natural resources across the world including South Asia and the Indian subcontinent. Factor responsible for the location of primary and secondary and tertiary sector industries in various parts of the world including India. Next point, important geographical phenomena such as earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclone, etc. geographical feature and their location changes in a critical geographical feature including water bodies and ice cap and in flora and fauna and effect of such changes. So we are going to, this is the end of the part paper 1. So we are going to start with paper 2. So paper 2 is basically of governance, constitution, polity, social justice and international relation. So in that first point is that Indian constitution, historical underpinning, evolution, feature, amendment, significant provision and basic structure. Second point is function and responsibility of union and state, issue and challenges pertaining to the federal structure, devolutions of power and finance up to local level and challenges therein. Next point, separation of power between the various organ disputes, redressal mechanism and institution. Next point, comparison of Indian constitution scheme with that of other countries. Okay. Then next point is that parliaments and state legislature, a structure, functioning, conduct of business power and privilege and issues arising out of theirs. Next point, a structure, organization and functioning of executive and judiciary ministries and departments of the government, pressure group and formal informal association and their roles in the polity. Silent feature of the Representation of People Act. Next point, appointment of various constitutional post, power, function and responsibility of various constitutional bodies. Next point, statutory, regulatory and various quasi-judicial bodies. Next point, government politics and intervention of different in various sector and issue arising out of their design and implementation. Next point, development processes and the development industries, the role of NGO, SHG, various groups of association, donors, charities, institutions and other stakeholders. Next point, welfare scheme of vulnerable section of population by the center and state and the performance of their scheme mechanism, law, institution and bodies constituted for the protection and betterment of their vulnerable section. Next point, issue related to the development and management of social sector service relating to health, education, human resource. Next point, issue related to poverty and hunger. Next point, important aspects of governance, transparency and accountability, e-governance, application, models, successes, limitation and potential, citizen charters, transparency and accountability and institutional and other measures. Next point, role of civil service in democracy. Next point, India and its neighborhood relation. Okay. Next point, bilateral, regional and global grouping and agreements involving India and or affecting Indian interest. Next point, effect of policies and politics of developed and developing country on India interest, on Indians' interest and Indian diaspora. Next point, important international institution, agencies and fora, their structure, mandate. Okay, so here we complete the paper 2 syllabus. Now moving to the paper 3 syllabus. Paper 3 is mostly of technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, security and disaster management. So in that, first point is that Indian economic and issue relating to the planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and empowerment. Next point, issuing growth and issue arise from it. Government. Next point, government budgeting. Next point, major cropping patterns in the various parts of the country, different types of irrigation and irrigation system, storage, transports and marketing of agriculture produce. Okay, and issue and related constraints, e-technology in the aids of farmer. Next point, issue related to direct and indirect farm subsidies and minimum support price, public distribution system, objective, functioning, limitation, revamping. Next, issue of buffer stocks and food security, technology, missions, economic of animal rearing. Next point, food processing and related industries in India, scope and significant location, upstream and downstream, requirement of supply chain management, land reforms in India. Next point, effect of liberalization on the economic changes in industrial policies and their effects on industrial growth. Next point, infrastructure, energy, ports, roads, airports, railway, etc. Next point, investment models. Next point, science and technology development and their application and effect in the everyday life. Next point, achievements of Indians in science and technology, indigenization of technology and developing new technology, awareness in the field of IT, space, computer, robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and issue relating to the intellectual property right. Next point, conservation, environment, pollution, degradation, environmental impact assessment, disasters and disaster management. Next point, leakage between the development and spread of extremism. Next point, role on external state and non-state actors in creating challenges to internal security. Next point, challenges to internal security through communication network, role of media and social networking sites in internal security challenges, basics of cyber security, money laundering and its prevention. Next point, security challenges and their management in border area, leakage of organized crime with terrorism, various security force and agencies and their mandates. So here we complete the paper 3 syllabus. Now going to the paper 4 syllabus, that is ethic, integrity and aptitude. So in that like basic knowledge, you should know that this paper will include questions to test the candidate attitude and approach to issue relating to integrity, probity in public life and his problem solving approach to the various issues and conflict facing by him in dealing with societies. Question may utilize the case study approach to determine their aspects. The following broad areas will be covered. So in that first point is that ethics and human interface, essence, determinations and consequence of ethics in the human actions, dimension of ethics, ethics in private and public relationship, human values, lessons for the lives and teaching of great leaders, reformers and administrators, role of families, society and educational institute in the inculcating values. Next point, altitude, content, structure, function, its influence and relation with thoughts and behavior, moral and political attitudes, social influence and percussion. Next point, aptitude and foundational values for a civil service, integrity, impartiality and non-participative objective, dedications, public service, empathy, tolerance and compensation towards the weaker section, emotional intelligence, concept and their utilities and applications in administration and governance, contributions of moral thinker and philosopher for India and world, Public civil service values and ethics in public administration, status and problems, ethical concerns and dilemmas in government of private institution, laws, rules, regulation, and conscious as source of ethical guidance, accountability, and ethical governance, strengthening of ethical and moral values in the governance, ethical issues in the international relations, and funding corporate governance. Next point is probity of governance, concept of public service, philosophical base of governance, and probity, information sharing and transparency in governance, right to information, code of ethics, code of conduct, citizen charter, work culture, quality of service delivery, utilization of public fund, challenges of corruption, case study on the above issue. So in paper 4 basically you will get a case study. So before going in the examination you should thorough with 20-30 case study so that you will not confuse in the examination. And this paper 4 is very lengthy, so you should get a habit of practicing paper 4 within the 3 hours of time frame. So with this we are completing the syllabus of the UPSC, and in next video we will check the syllabus of optional subject. So I will let you know which optional subject we are covering, and after that we will let you know. So for now, bye. Thank you for listening.